Testing, testing. Okay. Okay. What is up, everyone? Jovis back with another video. This time we're going to try to really understand Yoshidora, like really get a better understanding of him. I chose Asimo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right this time. Because I actually entered a Wi-Fi bracket last night with Yoshi under a secret alt account. But it was actually Terry I was losing to, not Ryu. In fact, I took a game off of it was weird. I took a game off of a high level Ryu, and they counterpicked me to Terry and 3-stocked me. But then they beat another Yoshi that was probably better than me with solo Ryu. I guess my Yoshi doesn't particularly struggle against Ryu, but I'm sure there's concepts that transcribe between them. Unfortunately, I couldn't find, and then I lost to a Terry in losers. I definitely have. It kind of sucked because this time around, I think my Yoshi was better enough that I could have gone further. Like, I think I could have easily made top 16 in that Wi-Fi bracket. Not to talk too much about myself. I'll start the VOD review soon. But I have some fucking crazy Terry problem. Unfortunately, there's no Yoshidora or Mark gameplay videos against Terry. So I'm kind of screwed for that. I think there's a Pharaoh set, so I might watch that at some point. But I was wanting to watch Yoshidora again anyway, because I need to understand how to play this character at a deeper level. And I don't think I'll get that from any Yoshi that's not Yoshidora or Mark, no offense. So this is my attempt to really get a better understanding of Yoshi. And kind of learn the FGC character matchup too. And then I'll probably watch Pharaoh versus Terry at another point. He starts down with a Nair. I wonder what the purpose of that is. So if you want to understand how a top player plays and understand the context behind everything, just a warning, this VOD review is probably going to be a bit longer than the other ones, just because it's going to be a bit more intensive. I'm going to try to go a bit deeper than usual. So it's going to be a little bit less surface level. It means it might be more helpful. I do notice that Yoshidora loves, like, doing the reactionary positioning. He'll, like, dash and then backflip towards the opponent quite often. That's, like, his favorite reactionary position. He almost always starts out by doing that. He does it, and he actually does it again, but this time he does an egg out of it. So it seems like at a certain distance, Yoshi shore up egg throw is a decent approach. He goes up pretty high. He's able to pressure for far away, and I think he can react. I think he reacted to the egg, maybe not. Or what did he react to? What did he react to? He did start drifting back. He might have started drifting back on reaction to Ryu drifting in. So you have some flexibility with the egg because you can always just back up if things don't look like it's going to go your way. He retreats to the platform. I think Asimo actually reads it, but doesn't quite hit. He knows that... I feel like back usually goes less far than that. It's whatever. When it's on slow motion, I mean. Wait, hang on. Yeah. So he lands on the platform. He sees that Asimo is going to retreat down under the platform, and he tries to counter with a back air. He doesn't cross it up, which means that Ryu, I think, could have punished. Because Yoshi's back air is not actually that safe on shield. Let me look up I need to look at his frame data more anyway. Okay. 16, 11, base frame 5, 16, okay. But, it's -9. Most characters can punish something -9 on shield. That's like an almost shield grab territory. I think you can spot dodge a shield grab, but yeah. But I think there was a lot of ambiguity. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that word, but it's very ambiguous on if that was going to cross up shield or not. Um, and I think Asimo was like, okay, I can't fuck with it too much because if I guessed wrong, the risk reward may not be in my favor. So instead of trying to punish outright, he just retreats and covers a roll in. Um, Covering a roll in area is kind of like a neutral reset, but it's a safe way. If someone pressures your shield and you're unsure if you can punish it or if you definitely can't punish it, retreating and putting out a hitbox, kind of a roll distance in front of them, can always be a strong strategy to kind of resets neutral at worst, you know. And some people do like to roll in after um, certain things. And if they try to retaliate like a double shield pressure or something, you might be able to be in position to whiff punish. Um, but I know we're supposed to be watching Yoshidora. Yoshidora goes to shield after whiffing the shield pressure. He full hops. Asimo's just backing up. But he full hops out of shield, so he full hops on reaction to Asimo being a roll distance. Because this is initiated before slash during this second dash back. So he full hops on reaction, but he's also reacting mid full hop. That's something people need to remember, is that when you jump up in the air, especially with a full hop, short hop, you have a smaller reaction window. With a full hop, you have a bigger reaction window. But when you full hop, you have a window in which you can react and choose your next option accordingly. But Asimo's planning on just continuously dashing back. Yoshidora goes for a double jump. There is, of course, a chance, because once you are in this range that they were in... Can I, like... No. Once you're in the range that they were in, which I just missed again, I went back for nothing. But they were in, like, a... Yeah, right here. This is a range in which Ryu could press a button and hit Yoshidora, like, at an unreactable range. Like, if Ryu were to, like, if Yoshi were to keep reacting and just land, or was committing to a hitbox or something, like a landing aerial, Ryu could just intercept it on the way down, and it would be unreactable. So this is within an unreactable range, and Yoshidora's like, okay, I don't have enough data to really, like, play the game here yet, so I'm just going to double jump out, and the data... But this will give him a data point of how does Asimo react to the full hop. Yoshidora goes up high. There is a associated risk with this in that Yoshi puts himself very far above the opponent with very few landing options. But Yoshi's drift mix-ups can make it a bit less significant. Asimo's reacting to the double jump now and is dashing back in to put a pressure option. But he's able to drift onto the platform. It seems like Asimo maybe made a read that he was going to drift to the right platform again, which would make sense. He did that in the previous interaction. But he actually drifts to the left platform this time, and it completely catches Asimo off guard. Interesting. Is that a technique? He, like, dashes, and then he drifts off nair. I don't know if that's, like... I'll have to test that out in training mode and see if there's anything unique with that. I don't know if that, like, is a technique I'm unaware of or not. But why does he do this? So we need to ask yourself the why. So with the 5 W's, we can kind of just skip the who and the what to an extent, because we know the option. We can see with our eyes what the option is. Those two questions are kind of inherently answered for us as long as we use our eyeballs. But when does he do it? So he lands on the platform and he immediately tries to initiate. Like, honestly, I predict that with this dash right here, he was already trying to initiate. And we have to figure out the context. And I guess where is kind of answered for us too. But, you know, the where is kind of just like, oh, what's the stage positioning? Where is Yoshi when it happens? You know, like, Does the stage positioning or the opponent's position influence at all? Um, and the where is like the timing, the reaction, which what the opponent is doing in the opponent's distance is kind of influences both the where and the when, because they might do it because of the positioning of the character, but they also might be the when is also kind of like the reaction. Like, are they reacting to something? You have to like check that to get full context. And at the point of initiation, so reaction time is about 15 to 20 frames. Um, I just kind of guesstimated, but he basically initiated when Asimo. He was probably planning on initiating it when Asimo was around center distance, so it's possible that that might have influenced it. And because, but he also had a reaction window here. But he does go back. He goes back into that range. He actually, so this might be a smart play from Asimo. He puts himself in this range right here and then backs up. So he's basically like faking a vulnerability. He fakes that he's vulnerable in a certain area, and this may have influenced because Yoshidora initiated the dash, but he had a small reaction window where he could have decided to fall off Nair or not. In fact, maybe that's part of his like optimal top level strategy or whatever, where he'll like do a dash on the platform, but it's kind of a reactionary option select where if you see something you could punish, you can do that Nair tech off of it, but you can always retreat or do something else. Um, so the dash is kind of setting up the Nair, but you can always retreat out of it. Out of a smaller reaction window, or at least that's my theory. Obviously, I don't know for sure. I might be overcomplicating it, but he may have neutral aired off of reaction to Asimo, and he does get punished for it. Very smart from Asimo, and we can learn from this. Now, I'm not. We're supposed to be watching Yoshidora, but Asimo is a very smart and super top level player as well. Um, and we should take whatever we can get, right? So, putting yourself, if the opponent is reacting, which most top level players are reacting with almost everything they do, I think a lot of mid level players kind of 50-50 between like doing something really preemptive or doing something like really reactive. But top players kind of combine the two, I think. Like they'll do a lot of things in which is kind of like an optional select out of, so they'll preemptively do something, but they have a small reaction window where there's kind of a mix-up tree that they can do out of reaction to something. Kind of like with that theoretical dash, which is actually a poor and complicated example, but like even just doing like a short hop and then reacting and choosing what you do on the way down is an example of this. I feel like top level play is kind of like a lot more nuanced. But if your opponent is reacting, you can step in a vulnerable range where it looks like you can get hit. And I will say most Yoshis do have a habit, to correct if you're listening, you're included, of doing like a fall off aerial when they're on a platform and you're in a particular area. So you can always like bait them to do something. I don't know. I might be going too deep into this. It seems like that sets up to the fireball. The worst case scenario, the best case is Yoshi gets hit by it. The worst case is Yoshi shields. But neutrals reset. They both actually try. They both basically shoot a gun. It's like a Wild West moment. They both try shooting at each other at a similar time out of that scenario. Now, of course, the fireball. Actually, they both act. I think they both act like they both are in their jump squat range. Oh wait, I think this is like a frame off from hitting. That's kind of funny. But they both try shooting their gun, but Ryu's is first. And I will say, in my personal opinion, Yoshi can struggle in these moments because most of like Yoshi's long range moves, his Nair comes out fast, his up air also comes out fast, his F tilt and jab also come out fast, but you have to go through your dash frames first. But Yoshi's ranged moves, like his forward air and back air, they don't come out that quick. There's a reason Ryu's Nair was able to out time it here. even it was just by a frame or two. But you also have to keep in mind Ryu dashed a little bit first, whereas Yoshi jumped right away. He comes this. Yoshi tries nairing on the way down, which is good awareness to know he can do that. And it could have hit Asimo if Asimo was trying to be more aggressive. But he knows not to be more aggressive. He knows to back up and reset the combo. He tries forwarding on the way down. I mean, why not? If someone were to try to catch you on the way down, the hitbox would stuff them out. And the hitbox is relatively safe at that distance. Like, you're not going to get whiff punished for it at that distance, especially not by Yoshi, who's not particularly amazing at reactionary whiff punishing. I think that's the reason I kind of struggle playing Yoshi as well. I think the way I like playing the game, Yoshi struggles with, which is part of the reason why Yoshi is not as good as some of the other characters I've tried putting time into. But that's a separate thing. He's gonna dash back again, but dash back in. But we've been watching Asimo. Let's that's my bad. I actually haven't watched Asimo before, and Asimo's been winning so far. That's part of the reason. But back to Yoshidora, he rolls in. I'm a little surprised he rolled in. I think if Asimo were to be aggressive here, Yoshi could have gotten a bait. But I don't know what purpose that roll in served outside of that. But he dashes back, dashes in slightly, and then does a full hop. Full hop, I think, is just another reactionary position. He puts out a back air in front. He tries to... I think Asimo tries to punish the jump. Because he whiffs a back air. Asimo goes for a jump read, but Yoshidora, he jumps at just... I don't know if Asimo was specifically reading a jump in, or if he was reading a jump in general and just happened to misspace it. But I think Yoshidora was like, oh shit, this is scary. I think he acknowledges that Ryu's not a character you want to, like, do too much close quarters combat with, so he's going to double jump out. Double jumping might be stronger against Ryu anyway, just because I don't think Ryu is a character that's able to juggle or, like, catch lightnings as flexibly as, like, a real Smash character can. So he goes to the platform, landing back air. And it seems like any kind of time you could put out a back air at roll distance in front of your opponent, like that's a common W. Like, that's like Yoshi's main walling option, and kind of like doing a cloud back air, there's not a lot the opponent can do out of it. But a lot of the complexity comes with what you do after the back air. But it seems like starting the neutral interaction in some capacity by doing Yoshi back air is like the main thing. He's going to go for a simple dash back in. He goes for a full up down air, maybe making a jump read, maybe even reading the back air here. Or maybe just reading a jump. But Yoshi down air can also just be kind of like an option select tool neutral as well. But Asimo makes a read here. He's able to attack on the way down. This might be a Yoshi privilege because he hits a back air. But Yoshi's able to be to the point where, like, he's landing to the left side of this platform. But he's able to go under the platform and still hit at such a range where the hitbox is coming out almost on the right side of the platform. Most characters cannot... In fact, I'm pretty sure every character besides, like, Puff cannot do that. That is absolutely a Yoshi privilege. Connects it into an angled up F-tilt, which was probably optimal. Goes for the neutral air, but gets focused. Good read from Asimo. But then air probably does cover a lot. Ooh! Asimo makes like a lot of crazy reads. It makes sense that a lot of people will cancel their hits done with either an attack to wall out, like Yoshidora could have back aired or nared, or they'll do like a B reverse option. Like I see a lot of Yoshis do B reverse neutral B here, which could work, and I think I've seen Yoshidora do it before too. Or they'll just do an up air. I think up air is probably, I know it's the least amount of in air lag. I don't know if it's the least amount of landing lag. Oh no, nair is. So nair is probably the best, like... Honestly, nair's probably slightly better, but if you're facing away from your opponent, nair's not going to be as useful. It's not that these options are inherently bad, though. It's just that Asimo seems really strong at knowing, like, the counterplay to all the, like, high-level landing options. Because this F smash is definitely a read, and he got unlucky. Either that or he just underestimated Yoshi's drift back. But he is going to find an inhale. Most people are going to shield, and a lot of people are going to shield in a situation like that because they just whiff a big move like that. And shield is one of the most common options in the game. So he's going to find, and he's shore hopping as well, which is going to give, he might be providing a visual stimuli that he might go in for an attack off this jump. So it's like a double factor. The opponent just whiffed a heavy hitting move at semi-close distance, especially when the opponent's in the corner. And the opponent is currently in the air, a character that likes using aerials a lot. So both of those, I think, work together. So sometimes you can chain multiple sources to influence someone to do something, or just be aware of the multiple sources. I think a lot of it's like one source is just by the instinctual part of the match, and then one other source is a visual stimuli provided by you. But if you can combine them, it's not a surprise at all that Asimo is going to shield here, and really strong from Yoshidora to acknowledge that and get this egg lay. He goes for a down air. Now, something to know about Yoshi down air, if the opponent just whiffs and mashes an aerial out of it, it will beat this down air most of the time. He is initiating the down air at a distance though, where maybe the down air would still win out. There's probably a distance for sure out of egg lay. So I could see this being strong. This is probably just an option select because he does this down air. If the opponent mashed out of the egg with an attack, the first 7 frames they're invincible. But I think by the time they would reach Yoshi's down air here, the 7 frames would be over. But most people are going to try to get to stage. So he knows to drift the down air back to stage so he can cover multiple things, and he gets this neutral air. And he's going to land on the platform. Goes for the back air. He initiates the back air right away, so it seems like initiating the back air right after certain sort. I think if the opponent were to try to, because if the opponent really wanted to pressure Yoshi in a way that's safe, they would need to get to the right side of the platform here, I think. Because if they're on the left side, they could play more passive and not get by the back air with shield or dash back or jump. But I don't think they can punish the back air super easily. I think one thing they could do is they could empty hop here. Because most Yoshis, I will be honest, you could probably stereotype it. Most Yoshis are going to back air in this from a cone angle in this situation. I think you could probably do a empty hop to go over the back air. Oh, the back air's big, so make sure you know the ranges of it. And then whiff punish it from above. You can maybe dash back whiff punish as well. But be careful, it's surprisingly hard to whiff punish back air. I think it's even harder to whiff punish back air than punishing it out of shield when it's unspaced and uncrossed up, I should specify. He does hit shield, but because it's safe, he can't get anything. I think Yoshidora actually tries to punish the retaliation out of shield, because he seems like he knew that Asimo was going to do an attack out of shield, and he tried to punish again. A lot of characters can just dash back or shield or whatever, but Yoshi, not being the best reactionary with Punisher, because he lacks a lot of really good burst range options, has to go for another aerial pressure as well. But because Asimo is either fishing for a parry or just doesn't hold shield long enough, does get hit out of shield. Oh. Good drift back. So he full hops. Asimo goes for the interception, but he goes for down air. And he hits shield, and then he backs up at the last second to make it safe, which Yoshi has the flexibility to do. And the fact that Yoshi can go from, he's going in. No, he's going out a little bit. I think he starts holding back here. So he's from here, and then 1, 2. Oh, it's one of those 60 frames per second videos where each frame is 30 frames per second, but you can kind of skip frame by frame. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17. Although it's weird because it's not quite accurate because of the shield stun. It's going to be too complicated to figure out all the frame data off of this. So, basically from a very short window, he's able to be almost to the ground and then go to the left side of the shield, like from like this distance, like to the point where Ryu, who has short range out of shield, can't really do anything about it. He tries a down tilt just in case. Down tilt seems good in these like close quarters situation. If he kept shielding, the down tilt would be safe on shield. And if he tried attacking, the down tilt would either stuff it out or low profile. And it's safe on whiff. So down tilt seems really strong in those like really close quarters situations after you just like whiff something or your opponent just whiff something, but you don't have like a guaranteed punish. He goes for a full hop. It seems like he's reading a jump in, but Asimo's also reading a jump. He's able to drift back after the fireball really well. Dash in down tilt, just safe pressure. Ooh, neutral. Why did he do that? This is one that I need to extrapolate more information on. So post down tilt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. He's actually dashing back at the reaction window. So I don't think he did it on reaction. I think this is either a read, or he's just like, oh, I'm going to down tilt, and most people are going to try to intercept the down tilt, so I can maybe find a neutral air afterwards to read. He might have been reading the jump too. But it does get countered. Ooh, reads the roll back. So Yoshi can go a bit under ledge. Go under. Now, I will say he would... Well, I don't know. He is open to an attack right now, and he's at high enough percent that a lot of moves to break his armor. So you do need to be careful and aware. But a lot of people will try to punish this double jump. I will say at lower percents you can be a bit less. But a lot of people are going to try to punish this by retreating. So he knew that this was going to happen. He was shielding so he could only roll, so he went for the up air roll distance behind him, which is going to not have a combo. However, it seems like he misreacted. This looks like a situation where he assumed the up air would not hit. So he queued up the F tilt to cover himself afterwards. But he was still able to cover. Beautiful. Beautiful. So he sees that. He does the F tilt. I think he initiates this jump before the reaction window. Yeah, he air dodges like right the... Sorry about that. He air dodges the frame before he jumps. He might have been reacting like mid-jump, like, oh, he air dodged. And if he just like stayed on the platform, he probably would have just been in position. This jump in probably is strong because he's still in a range where he could pressure the platform, potentially, if Asimo just landed on the platform or to the left or something instead. But landing onto the right side here, he was able to react to that as well. So it's kind of like a reactionary position in this very niche advantage state situation where he's able to cover, or he either beats or goes even with or slightly beats like every possible scenario with just a simple short hop. Tomahawk F tilt seems like the optimal punish for him. Tries a couple into up air, but doesn't quite. I don't know if he messed up the combo or if Asimo just went a little bit too far. He tried making a read, but because he's going to back up out of that focus, I think it was that forwarder tried covering multiple things. If he kept focusing, I don't think he would have punished the forwarder with it because he would have went too high. Landing option in front of roll distance. Almost all of his options have been that, but it's just like what he does afterwards. Oh, but... So he goes to this empty hop afterwards. If then Asimo dashes here. He goes for the down air again. The down air seems like a good, like... Again, it's kind of like the third layer. I don't know how to explain it, but when someone is playing around like short hop height with Yoshi, the full up down air works really well. and it's just an option that has because you could fade back or fade in with it, and it can shield poke, and it can be spaced at the last second on shield to be safe if it's not going to shield poke. It's just like a strong option that covers a lot of scenarios. And he sees this neutral air, and he's like, oh, I can whiff punish this with this down air. But Asimo's just barely able to put out his shield in time. Thankfully, Yoshi does not get kill comboed. That might have been SDI. Can you tell someone SDIs? I forget if there's a visual indicator or not. I don't really see it in game, but maybe there's like... It does kind of seem like he's SDIing. So maybe with some Ryu combos, if you SDI away... Oh wait, there's a player cam. He actually even wavelands out of it. I don't know if the waveland actually helped him or not, but maybe. But it seems like a strong option out of that very niche scenario. He tries punishing, but Ryu has deceptively low lag on his up B, which, by the way, I hate to complain. In fact, I'm gonna do a push-up after this stream because I'm complaining. I hate when recovery options like that have no lag on the ground when they hit the ground. I actually think that's abysmal game design. No offense. But this means that you want to hit Ryu like as he's falling, not as he lands. Is a distinction. Asimo gets the interception here. He's dashing. I think he's reading, like, Asimo's going for, like, a read on, like, full drift in something Yoshi, which is why he kind of dashes back and then puts himself in position to punish with something. The down tilt seems to beat... I don't know if he did this down tilt knowing he would beat this back air, or if he did this down tilt just because it's good at covering Yoshi and low profiling under certain aerials. Which might be an important distinction. It does seem like it is strong at low profiling under things. Goes for a tech roll and read. It's okay that it doesn't hit because nothing bad comes from it. Goes for the back air again. Spaces it, but he's going to Shrub out of it. It seems like Shrub is a very common post shield pressure / whiffing a back air roll distance option. Because he goes for the jump, and I think Asimo just made a full read on it, which is going to be a big punish for him. Yoshidora goes for a forward air to protect himself. Does not seem to be on reaction or anything. Just seems like if you try to attack me, if you try to go off stage at me here, this forward air is going to stuff you out. But the Hadouken actually covers it. I don't know if that was a read, or if he just threw out a Hadouken because it's free pressure. With like no risk associated to Ryu at all. So why not go for it? Or maybe he was trying to counter the attack out of hit stun. Which honestly, I wonder if I could do with the jump throw banana off stage, like target people doing attacks out of hit stun after I send them off somewhere. If I have a banana in hand, maybe I hit them with a side B or a Z drop aerial or something. I don't know. Nonetheless. He's going to throw out another Hadouken, but Yoshidora is going to throw out an egg. The egg is going to force the shield. No, actually the parry. He's going to go for another egg. He actually tries parrying it, but misses it. But now he's on ledge. He tries countering. I think he's tries putting out a hitbox because to do this back air. This means that Asimo is actually a sitting duck throughout this entire, like, one way to look at it is out of shield, or not out of shield because he does a dash first. But he's like a sitting duck right here, right? So he's open to getting hit. He's open to getting hit, open to getting hit, open to getting hit. Oh, even here he's open to getting hit. So I think he was trying to target him before the aerial could come out, which would be a strong option. But he did it too late, or he underestimated the speed of which the move would come out, and he does get stuffed out. It is improperly timed, and that is going to be a back air from Ryu. He reacts Well, I don't know if there's a reaction. It seems like he read it. He's invincible. Most people are going to choose defensive options when someone's invincible. So he could maybe stereotype that, and he's able to get this jab on this air dodge. Ooh, catches him off guard with that. So he drops back, which would cover a tech roll in, but he's able to drift in at the last second. So that's like another like option select type deal. Because you do the initial jump back, and if the opponent tech rolls in, you can react. Like, you really need to build a playstyle filled with like reactionary positions and reactionary options. So like you do this jump back, and if they tech roll in, free landing up air, free whatever he was gonna do. Probably a landing up air, but I don't know that for a fact. And then on them not rolling in, you react to that, and then you can drift in. But I think he reacts to the fact that he can't get a guaranteed punish or anything. So he goes for this double jump. He initiates this down air, does not seem to be on reaction to anything. So he goes for this down air. Now a lot of Yoshis, when they do this down air, they'll drift it back to the left here. Which basically means you have free space to move into if you want to counterplay it. So you have free stage control you could take. So I think Asimo is playing around that. But sometimes just doing a full drift in with down air could be the mix-up that can catch the opponent off guard like so. Goes for the egg, just initiates it right away. Hits a snare, seems to be on reaction to the air dodge in. Now he's off stage, goes for the forward air, but definitely extended quite a bit, and he actually gets reversaled for it. So he has a snare. I think he expects a forward air? No, not a forward air. I think he I was going to say side B, but some Ryus is kind of like... So, I don't think a lot of FGC characters recover high super often. Like, most of them are either going to side B to ledge, or they're going to drop down low, then double jump up B. Some of them might focus first before doing either one of those options. But of course, they still have the option to recover high. And if you're going to go for a read like this, because this forwarder, I don't know if that would have covered side B or not. It might have. I mean, if you look at the range he could have side B'd, it would have been like right here. He would have side B'd a ledge. But it seemed, no, that forwarder wouldn't have hit the side B. He was reading a drop low. I will say most mid-level Ryus don't, or most mid-level Ryus side B most often, but when you get to higher level, they start dropping down more often. So trying to hit them before they get into the range that they double jump up B in is very strong and would guarantee a stock here. But the mix-up on the Ryu's part is going to be just going for a high recovery. Yoshi is a flexible enough character that you can go kind of farish off stage, but then because your double jump and up B is the way it is, you can go on stage. In fact, I think he was trying to even punish him with this egg. But he's able to jump over the egg and then hit Yoshi, which is a very strong counterplay in distinction from Asimo. Because if he shielded the egg, Yoshi would have gone back for free, and the situation for Yoshi wouldn't have been nearly as bad. Especially because he could just double jump armor out of the corner at any time. So honestly, being in the corner with Yoshi when Yoshi's at a percent that not that many moves break his double jump armor, I don't think Yoshi would struggle with as much, just because he can just double jump. He does have to land afterwards though, but he does have a lot of like landing drift mix-ups. But because he was able to jump over the egg, he was actually able to punish Yoshi for using it. Not everyone knows that you can jump over egg and hit Yoshi. He might have actually been safer just going to ledge. He does seem to go for that forward air a lot to reversal people trying to edge guard. And then goes for that air dodge. I've actually thought of the air dodge before. The air dodge is generally one of Yoshi's strongest options. Because Yoshi can sometimes like double jump down B to grab ledge the best and hit it, like do it under the ledge. But there's like kind of an SD risk doing it, and it's kind of weirdly inconsistent in my experience. I haven't like fully labbed or like watch anything on it though, so there might be things I'm not aware of. And if Yoshi eggs to stage, there's actually a kind of a window where you can hit him. Like if you do it preemptively, you can like spike him, for example, because you can aerial through his egg and hit him. I do find he weirdly grabs the ledge beforehand a lot of the time, but still. or you can go on. There's ways to edge guard it. It's hard and sometimes it's inconsistent because you have to like kind of commit to it. And if Yoshi does like anything else besides egging to ledge, you usually overextend and get reversaled or get put in not the best situation. But generally, a lot of Yoshis probably wish they had more ways to like grab ledge from a safe height, like a traditional up B, I guess. Like Lucina could up B to the ledge. There's the 2 frame window, although Lucina's hitbox makes that complicated. Let's say Diddy, my character, like Diddy could just up B to ledge, and I don't have to do all the work of like doing it at like the crazy height. I would say Yoshi's double jump is probably harder to get the perfect alignment for it to not go over the ledge like almost at all than like even Cloud up B. And there's not like the hitbox to protect yourself either. I don't even know if you can do it perfectly or not. But this air dodge up from this height, you can even do it out of a double jump, I noticed, although it's a little hard to perfectly align it out of a double jump, so you might peek over the ledge a little bit with it. It's easier to do while falling and not fast falling. But this air dodge up is probably a very strong option for Yoshi. That's probably low-key his safest recovery option. And every Yoshi could probably learn to do it more often. Goes for a neutral get up. No, this might be important. He neutral get ups, it seems, on reaction to the jump. To a full hop specifically. So that could be a note for us. Then full hop might be a but I don't know. I could see this nair hitting him. He tries jabbing. He actually does a jab 1 and then goes off stage. So it was kind of like a option select sort of deal again, but more of a preemptive option select rather than like doing something that you can react in. You like jab 1s, which would have if it might have intercepted Asimo trying to hit him if he tried doing it, but then after the jab 1 he goes off stage. It seems like, again, this is something I've known for any character. Going off, the weakness of being in the corner is that you can't retreat. So most good players are going to play around you not being able to retreat in the corner, but you secretly can retreat in the corner. You can go off stage. And Yoshi is perhaps one of the stronger characters at applying this. And he's even able to hit this. I will say I'm a little confused about the idea here. It works because Ryu went for the Hadouken, he could egg it. And maybe he egged on reaction to the Hadouken. No, he didn't. He goes for this egg. And the egg could cover a bit and prevent the opponent from ledge trapping in a way that they would want to. But you're kind of just putting yourself in a bad situation and putting yourself in a worse situation again. Thankfully, the egg hits, though, so you're able to get back. So it does work out, but I feel like you need some crazy foresight. Maybe he read the Hadouken in that range. But if he read the Hadouken anyway, I'm pretty sure he could have, I don't know. I'm a bit confused about it, but maybe he knows something I don't. Maybe I'm not at a level that I can understand it yet. But also top players make mistakes too, so I don't know. Goes for the back air. It shield pressures because Asimo dashes in, but Yoshidora is consistent at spacing it. And finally punishes Asimo, seemingly having a habit of retaliating at a shield and against moves that are potentially too safe. Well, maybe. He does go for like jump backs and jump ins. But it seems like if it's ever ambiguous on if the move's safe or not, where it's like kind of hard to tell, he will go for retaliation. So he gets up tilted into up aired, but Ryu's surprisingly heavy-ish, so not going to hit. I think he is reading that he's going to hold the focus there, because the egg hit, so no longer was that move really invincible. He basically took away the invincibility with the up air. But he also could have been making a 50-50 read, because he goes towards the left, so maybe he was reading that he was going to go towards the left instead of the right, because this is effectively a 50-50. But he messed up, and now he just gets to land against a character that doesn't really juggle traditionally. Ooh, the empty hop up tilt. So he does this back air, it whiffs. He goes for this short hop, and he lands in up tilts. Maybe he knew that Asimo likes to jump in and attack at a shield, and that the up tilt would beat it. Or maybe he's just like, oh, they're shielding around roll distance in front of me. They can only approach me with a jump from this position, so I can land an up tilt. This up tilt and roll distance in front of the opponent, like they can't dash and punish me or dash and shield or whatever out of that range. So, and they can only approach me with a jump aerial, and which would get stuffed out by the up tilt. So if the opponent is shielding at mid range while I'm jumping, that is a cue for me to land an up tilt. Maybe it's not that deep, but that's my theory. He does get it, and this is going to be a kill. See, I told you guys, this is probably like one of my longest VOD reviews. Yeah, this is already more than the amount of time that I've VOD review a single game sometimes. But I'm really dissatisfied with my Yoshi so far, so I really need to get a better understanding of how to play. This is something I already VOD reviewed before. He loves making it look like he's gonna land on the platform and then not. Goes for that full hop again, but he can space it. Asimo does love going for jump aerials out of shield, which is probably strong, honestly. Like, we could probably incorporate that with all of our characters. Like, if someone pressures our shield and they're a high-level player. Mid-level players do different shield pressure sequences than high-level ones, though, so it does get a bit weird with us trying to apply it. But a lot of good players will try to roll in or dash away or roll away or jump away, whatever. Which Yoshidora tried doing here, because he pressured the shield with down air, drifted back so it's safe. So the goal, instead of trying to punish it directly out of shield, he set his attack to what he thought the opponent was going to do afterwards. I guess just that distinction might be the thing. I will say the options that mid-level players at top level, I already said that, but they do different options after hitting your shield, generally. But one of your data points is, what does the opponent do after hitting my shield? And then you can start thinking about how to counterplay each option, both at mid and at top level. Like at top level, people are going to jump away or slide away or roll or dash or jump away. Like they're going to do something defensive usually after pressuring your shield. And that Asimo is showing us that jump in aerial is a great counterplay to that. Excuse me, I did not know why I'm sneezing so much. But he hits the aerial out of it. Yoshi just lands. Again, his drift seems to be like so good that Asimo tends to underestimate it a lot. Because he tried to cover Yoshi's landing afterwards. But Yoshi's just able to drift a little bit further than people think. And now he can jump. He tries going for the back air, but Asimo, I think, hard reads it and goes for the S smash. Goes for this short hop. That short hop might have actually influenced Yoshidora to go for this down air. Because if someone's like empty hopping in that range, you can just kind of go above them with the down air. Or that can be an okay option in that scenario. But he dashes back to whiff punish. I don't even know if he was baiting the down air. I think he just did a short hop into a dash back. Because there's a lot of responses someone might have to that simple short hop at corner. But if the opponent's, almost all of it would lose to a dash back. So you want to give your opponent a visual cue a lot of the time and then do something that like would beat almost all the counters to that visual cue. Yoshi could have done more than just this downer. He could have done some kind of retaliation. Downer is just one option. But downer does have the flexibility to drift back. He actually drifts back into the corner, and once again, is actually the same repeat of the same scenario. He even does the same back air after the scenario. It's a little bit faster this time, so he can't get the F smash out. It seems like this back air, he makes it ambiguous to if he's going to cross up or not. He actually reads the cross up. So Yoshidora goes for shield afterwards, so that if he tried retaliating, because he's been showing that he tries to thus far, he would shield it and be okay, or potentially be okay. But Asimo actually made the read, and it looked like the move came out before the shield came out, so it actually would have gone a true punish if he guessed the 50-50 correctly. It did, and honestly, looking at it, it looked like Yoshidora could have crossed up. Honestly, Yoshidora maybe even was trying to cross up, but just barely didn't get it because he tried making it ambiguous. to where the window was tight enough that it was almost a 50-50. But Asimo guesses wrong. This time he does get punished. Tries getting another up air, but is able to be air dodged, but he's in an okay situation. He tries countering the aerial from the platform with the back air, but it gets stuffed out. Because again, Yoshi's back air, if it's a Wild West moment and both characters are trying to swing at each other, Yoshi's back air loses out in some of the situations like it did earlier because it's kind of slow. Yoshi's nair and up air are okay in those scenarios, but they don't. They hit like barely in front of Yoshi at all, to the point where they probably could have also gotten stuffed out by certain things. So it does get a bit complicated. Yoshi has to like almost be a little foresighty with a forward air back air. But thankfully Ryu's nair is not safe on hit, it seems. So he gets snared. Goes for the forward air again, because he reads the jump. Goes for the nair afterwards. I think if on this forward air, if Asimo tried approaching to the right at all, this nair would have stuffed it out. But Asimo seemed to have read it, or just like decided not to. It seems like there's a lot of situations where people are likely to try to dash in to take space, but sometimes the mix-up is just not doing that, and you might find whiff punishes that way, by not falling for the fake space, as you will. And he gets a punish for it. Goes for the back air. Goes for an empty hop. Dash shields. I can see dash shield being strong after a couple empty hops as a mix-up. But Asimo, I don't know if he was reading that Yoshi was going to do something out of shield. I don't even know if he did that on reaction to the shield. It might just be as simple as Yoshidora didn't hold shield for as long as he should have. No, he wasn't going for like a dash shield. He was going for a dash. He was going for like an option select, because if you dash in and then jump, that's actually maybe even good for me to know. Because I see some top players like dash in, flicker shield to get a parry, and if the opponent tries doing something, like if they try putting out a hitbox where they're trying to dash into, they just get a parry and get a punish. So that, I think this is like an option select, maybe even more like a traditional usage of fighting game option select. Because I've been kind of misusing it, I think. Where he goes in with this dash parry, but then he jumps out of it. Because when you flicker shield, you do have to go through 11 frames of shield release, but that shield release can be canceled by jump. So if you're going to dash in and jump anyway, the shield flicker is like a genuine option select where like if they attack you, like you basically add 2 frames to your jump, but if they attack you within those 2 frames, you guys probably get what I'm saying. If they attack you, you get a parry. If they don't attack, you get the jump. That might actually be something I'd try incorporating more into my gameplay, because that does seem strong. Because I think sometimes I see some top players just dash in and flicker shield. But they'll just stand there, and then they'll like choose their next option afterwards, and that's strong, right? Because you might get a parry. But it's also like, it's relatively, like it's unreactable, because shield flicker is unreactable. I mean, you can react to it, but you can't get a true punish on it on reaction. Because 11 frames is not within shield, maybe 12 frames if you count 1 or 2 or 3 frames of shield being active. But you can, of course, you can punch with the do afterwards. But it's generally a decent option. But there is still the issue of like the parry. I think parry's 5 frames if I recall correctly. But that means that you're kind of a sitting duck after those 5 frames are up. So there is risk associated. But if you jump, you basically are canceling the end lag of it. So I that's something like kind of simple but kind of top level to that we can all implement. That it's a universal concept, every character can do it. That's something we can all incorporate. Good drift to avoid the Hadouken. Goes for that. Double jumps. So he goes under the Hadouken, goes for an egg, actually angles it in a really cool way where it basically covers, like, it almost even hits here. Honestly, I mean, maybe Asimo is trying to microspace around it, and that's very impressive, but I find it a little hard to believe that was intentional. But also, he should have been able to react to the egg, because egg is reactable. So maybe it was a micro spacing. But I don't know. He was way too close to hitting for me to think that was a good idea to position like that. I don't know. He double jumps full drift to the right, which means that he's out of the way of most two frame options. And he eggs to drift up higher. And the egg actually kind of is positioned in a way that it covers. But, ooh, that's a tricky. Oh, but there is a weakness to the air dodge up. So this is definitely a very tricky, and I would even say a high level, like he goes for this. It hits shield, but Yoshi can... I don't know. I don't know what the full, like, frame advantage is off of egg hitting shield at this angle and timing. It looked like Yoshi was able to act pretty soon afterwards, so the frame advantage was closer to 0 than I thought. I think he read a down air... I don't think he made a read, but he was, like, covering a drift in. Like, if Yoshi drifted in or tried to attack, he would have gotten stuffed out, and then he positioned himself to where he would still have corner pressure if Yoshi drifted in at the last second or something. Or been in position to cover, like, an air dodge in or another egg or whatever. But he goes for an egg, which is creative. A lot of people would shield at ledge in this situation or just keep holding shield. And then he's able to air dodge afterwards. So that is very creative and very cool. I know it didn't end up working out, and that was very impressive from Asimo to just barely, like, he two-framed the air dodge. In fact, he literally was, like, almost frame perfect. Like, the move came out, like, the last possible frame that it could have. But now Yoshi's in a very tough situation. Like, there's not even much he could do here. Like, Yoshi should be dead if he's in this situation. The only thing I can even think of is he could have slightly delayed the egg. But even then, I don't know if that would have worked. But maybe he could have slightly delayed it and then tried air dodging from a lower point or something. Or in one mix-up I think some Yoshis should explore more. This is one I came up with myself. Is I sometimes think, well, I don't know if it would have drifted from this angle. I think he would have had to do an egg first and get closer for it to work, but air dodge up is a strong option in this scenario. Actually, he was actionable for a few frames. I think. I could be wrong, but he actually maybe could have done the air dodge up here. And that probably would have been the only option that would have worked. But that was good on Asimo to take advantage of that. Goes for the egg lay, makes sense. A lot of people are going to shield or something. Trying to cover multiple options. Back air. Reacts to it not hitting, full hops. It seems like he either short hop or full hops after it, depending on the distance. Because you get pressure opponents from a further distance away if you full hop. Tries to nair. I think he reacts to him dashing to the left side of the platform and just nairs in case he tries to attack here. Tries going for a cross-up back air. Tries going for another back air to intercept. It makes sense, because if you see a situation with the opponent, if you think your opponent's going to try to take space or try to punish you or pressure you in some way, which would make, after whiffing an option like that, I can understand why you would think that. Asimo seems to be a step ahead. Good matchup knowledge to know that you can land and then parry that, though. But the Ryu being able to cancel attacks into specials is going to counter that. Oh. Okay. So he goes for the up tilt. The up tilt actually could have worked if it was just inputted a little bit earlier. In fact, it looks like it is like almost a frame off from hitting. So very barely just not hitting the up tilt. Tries hitting a nair. But Yoshi's able to grab ledge. Goes for the nair here. And then drifts it back, but then drifts back in. Because the drift back, well, I don't know. Ooh, I'm definitely utilizing most of my VOD review energy. That downer seems more effective. Honestly, I should do that downer more. He seems like very strong after whiffing options in front of the opponent too. Ooh, good. He's also really good at using his air drift and jumps. Because like right here, he's jumping in a way that if he went onto the platform, like he missed a tech or ended up teching or whatever, he would have gotten hit. But on air dodge, he's still able to cover it. Gets the jab. He definitely needs... Oh, he actually hits a forward air. Tries again, but the focus is going to beat that. And he's actually going to reversal Yoshi. So, it's a jab. Instant forward right away. I do this forward air too. Every Yoshi does this forward air. I would be a little... Well, I don't know. I think if you ever get hit off stage in a situation like this with Yoshi, you should probably expect the forward air a lot. But it is hard because you're basically forced to double jump or air dodge to not get hit by it. And Yoshi can read both those options. So it's kind of RPS. And I wonder if Asimo stereotypes that Yoshidora want to go for this forward air because it is a very mid-level Yoshi option. And sometimes as a top player, people are so conditioned to not expect mid-level habits from you that so the mid-level habits are actually like they open up. They hit this. Goes for the high recovery read. And if he did go for the low recovery, I think he would have been... Well, he would have had an air dodge, I think. He might have gotten hit by the forward air anyway if he just went low. But the focus is going to beat that. But Yoshi's still in an okay position for kind of. But now he has to get back on the stage because of the way his recovery works, which means... It's weird. Yoshi's really good at edge guarding, but has like some limitations that other characters don't have. He's like really volatile with edge guarding. Like, he's like better above and below average at edge guarding at the same time. It's like really weird. But he tries getting this egg to be positioned in a way that it could hit Ryu. But unfortunately, Ryu could get onto the stage too fast, and now Yoshi is doomed to get hit by that side B. And he's in a tricky situation. He could get punished here. Oh, really good. I mean, I can learn from that. So he eggs here. No, he uses double jump, so he does not have that as an option. If he had his double jump, he would have the luxury of being able to... He could still egg or not egg. He could either drift back or egg and drift back. And basically, regardless of if he eggs or not, he's not in a position that he can get hit by Ryu. But because he doesn't have his double jump, he doesn't have the... He maybe could have went back a little bit more. Maybe. But it would have made the recovery afterwards even tighter. He tries getting this forward air to beat Ryu before he hits him, but the gun is swung too slow, or shot too slow, which seems to be a common theme for Yoshi in these like horizontal distance situations. People talk about Yoshi's frame data a lot, but like in situations where Yoshi needs to protect himself with immediate aerial quick, Yoshi loses out in a lot of those situations. And good option select I don't know if it's an option select, but the side B afterwards to can progress is impressive. Jumps over the egg. Well, I'm a little surprised he doesn't get a punish here. I think he could have guaranteed it. I don't know. Whether it was a double jump back here back on the stage or a double jump in air to at least get something. But Ryu is a bit weird with edge guarding where he can't do some things that other characters can. Like if I was Diddy Kong, I probably could have dropped down with something or did a drop down and then did a double jump something. But it is weird. I wonder if he could have short hopped instead of full hopped under the egg to get better positioning, but it is hard. The egg did actually do a decent job at protecting him because he would have either had to shield, in which case his only option was to 2-frame, which actually might have been easier anyway because he got that down smash earlier. And Yoshi had to air dodge from such an angle. Granted, you wouldn't have been able to guess that. A lot of time when I fight Yoshi, they air dodge from a bit closer to the ledge. But maybe like parrying the egg and then doing something might have been better. But I see why you'd want to jump over the egg. But able to feint going off stage, and if you feint going off stage, a lot of people might like try to get back onto stage as fast as possible, which opens up the possibility to get a stuffed out move like this. But he tries it again, but gets stuffed out by Nair. Goes for forward air. It seems like forward air is a bit more defensive than back air is, but it gets Naired anyway. Because sometimes whiff punishing Yoshi by being slightly above him is easier than whiff punishing him like from a distance horizontally. Uh-oh, is that going to be it? Yeesh. That early? He was at 90. And Yoshi's heavy. Damn, I'm doing 2 push-ups. I hate the FGC characters. Ugh, I think Asimo's really cool to watch, and he's a very smart top player, but my god, I think the fighting game characters are bad design. Killing at 90. what, you don't even have 100% rage, killing at 90 a character that's like supposed to be hard to kill because he's like kind of heavier. Like Yoshi's not heavy, but he's like heavy enough. I'm remembering this enough that it's now up to 3 push-ups. I'm doing a push-up for every time I complain, by the way. But my god. It's really scary to see what a fighting game... Because I feel like a lot of fighting game character players... I feel like there's either the players that are dog shit with the fighting game characters because they are decent at Smash but not good at like the weird elements of the fighting game characters because they play very different. Or there's the players that are like kind of carried but they're good at the fighting game elements of the fighting game characters. Like they lab out all the combos and inputs and everything. But they're like kind of carried because they don't have a good conceptual understanding of Smash outside of those characters. But when there's a player like Asimo, who's like good at both, shit gets really scary. I can see why he's such a good player. Like shit gets scary really quick when it's a player like that. My god. But hopefully y'all found that helpful. If you watched this whole time, congratulations. I'm like proud of you. You must be dedicated to get better at this game. Or you just had this in the background while you did something else, which is also fair. But I learned a lot from this. Definitely probably my most extensive VOD review so far, but hopefully it was helpful to someone. Kind of unfortunate Yoshidora didn't do a little bit better. I usually peep the games to see what happens. Oh, it seems like Yoshidora, like... I think he takes a game, right? Perhaps I should have watched this game. If I wanted to watch... Oh, never mind. Asimo wins 3-0. This game was the closest, though. So maybe I should have watched it. But I just watched game 1. But it seems like... Ugh. Did not look very pretty for Yoshi. But I still learned a lot from it from both sides. And hopefully y'all did too. But thanks for watching. Have a good day. I'll be back with more videos soon.